Strangers in the same house, for crying out loud, it ought not to be. I am Adeyemo, Jesutofunmi Janet. Welcome guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so pleased to have you here today. Thank you for following me thus far. If this is your first time of being on my YouTube channel, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. And don't forget to smash the notification button. And yes, follow me on Instagram and Facebook at ParaCrystalSpeaks. Let's roll into what we have for today. So guys, today we will be continuing La Familia Serie. Of course, yes, we started La Familia Serie last year, and we've had 2 episodes of La Familia Serie. What's La Familia Serie all about? La Familia Series is basically about the family. If you haven't watched the first episode and the second episode, I will leave the link to the first episode here. And yes, for the second episode, this is the link for the second episode. And yes, I'm also gonna arrange La Familia series in a particular playlist and title it La Familia series. So once you're done watching this episode 3, you can go and check the first episode and second episode. Yes, the first episode and second episode were amazing. Like, I really enjoyed myself while I was shooting. Today, we will be talking about something very interesting. And on this third episode of La Familia series, join me as we talk about growing together as children in the family. So guys, what is it about? Growing together as children in the family. When a child is born into the world, the child's parents celebrate, like they're like, oh my god, this child is born, especially for the firstborn. When the firstborn of a family is born, there is a lot of excitement, jubilation, and especially if you're from my part of the country. What am I saying? Especially if you are from Nigeria, to be precise, there is a lot of jubilation. The naming ceremony is wow, a lot of eating, a lot of dancing. A child has been born into the world. How about when the second born comes in? And then the third born, the fourth born, and probably as many as you and your spouse want to give birth to. What happens next? You see, I searched for topics to talk about as regards the third episode of La Familia series, and this particular topic really sunk deep into my head, and that's about growing together in a family. The parents do not spend much time with the children as much as the children do to themselves. Yeah, that depends on the kind of family, because most times children tend to spend more time in school and outside the home than with the parents. I'll tell you this story. So there were 2 boys. Both of them were siblings, born to same parents. Along the line, this second born had to leave home to a boarding school. So the second born was in a boarding school. The firstborn was at home helping with other chores and as well schooling from home, while the second born was actually in a boarding school. Things happened, circumstances did not really make the second born really come home that often, and as fate would have it, he finished his secondary school education and had to come home. When he came home, it was quite chaotic trying to adapt to the kind of life he met at home. One, the firstborn, which is his brother, is the firstborn and is older than him. The secondborn is younger than the firstborn. But the secondborn had actually lived most of his life outside the confines of mom and dad rules. Of course, he was a good boy. So when he came home, him seeing another superior figure trying to, in one way or the other, control him as his elder brother felt strange to him. He revolted against his brother. They had issues, they had misunderstandings, they had quarrels, and yes, one thing led to another thing. Both of them had to part ways for educational purpose. It will surprise you to note that these two guys, although born of same parents, were never close. In short, when they got married like the other one did not have much interference into the other person's life. And from my own personal point of view, I feel it's very important that parents try to make their children close, because a time will come when mom and dad will not be there. The children will have to stick closer to themselves as one. They will have to take decisions together. They will have to do things together, and as well as protect each other. Either it's a family of 2 children, 3 children, as long as it's more than one child in that family. A time will come when, like I said, they will have to do things on their own, support each other, probably with the absence of their parents. There would be somebody out of these children who would have to stand in place of the parents, who obviously should be the eldest one in the family, or the eldest of these children. Now, I'm talking about this from my African point of view, specifically from the part I come from in Nigeria. There's much respect accorded to the eldest child of the family. Even if somebody seniors you with just a day, what is a day? Even twins self, you will have Taye or Taiwo and Kende. So even if it's just 1 hour difference, there is a level of respect you should accord to such particular person. Well, that's from where I come from. Now, I'm not talking about respect, I'm actually talking about children growing together. Things happen and parents sometimes have to take their decisions, which might lead to the children not being too close to each other for a very long period of time. In most cases, it's usually for academic purpose. I will want to believe that in families with more than a child, definitely the children would definitely have misunderstanding. Okay, I said definitely the children would definitely have misunderstanding. Okay, the children would definitely have a misunderstanding. In one way or the other person would have stepped on the other's toes. One would have stepped on the other's toes, because no two persons are actually the same. So, in situations where there is a bit of misunderstanding amidst the children, what do the parents do? How do they come in? It's not just enough for parents to just say, oh, you are wrong and you are wrong, okay, let's try and settle this amicably. Do you know that it's possible? Like, I'm a child, so I'm like, I'm a child. So you understand? So it's possible for parents to settle misunderstanding amidst their kids, and they apologize to each other, but the other person or one of the party is not happy. Like, the person may not say anything, but the person is not just happy. Probably the other person has been offending him or her over and over again, and then these 2 or 3 might eventually grow up and don't love themselves. Like, they don't really love themselves. They don't love themselves. I think it's very much important for parents to encourage their children growing up together. It's very much okay for them to go to the same school. It's very much okay for them to do stuff together. If there are instances in a home where it seems like A is not really, if there are instances in a home where it seems like A is usually irritated by B. There are some families where there's just somebody in the family that can easily get irritated. So yes, I think it's very much important for the parents to just try all they can. At least let it be said that they tried all they can to keep their children together. Don't be that parent that will sit down and A will come to you and tell you bad stuff about B, and you as a parent will sit down, you forget that you are actually gossiping with your child concerning the other one. And then when you are done, both of you might even plan or plot to deal with the other person in a particular way that will hurt the other person that much. And I think as a parent, you shouldn't have a best child. Yes, it may not be, I think it's possible for you not to have a best child, or let me say it's possible for you not to treat any of your children as the best. Of course, you might like a particular character in one of your children. Maybe there is one who is academically sound more than the other. There is one who kind of takes after the positive part of you more than the other. Maybe there's someone in the family that you're wondering, where did you get this kind of character from? Where did you get this kind of nature from? It's not from your mother, it's not from your father. Like, where did you get it from? And that person can be the odd one out. I think it's very much important for parents not to treat anyone as their best. Even if in your subconscious mind there is somebody you kind of like. I don't think it's even healthy, because out of the contents of your heart, your action is gonna speak. So if you have a particular child who seems to be the best, of course one might be doing fine academically, but academics is not the only thing that makes somebody great in life. Somebody might be much good in business, the other one might be much good in something else. I've been to environments where you will never know that A and B are related. Like when somebody is like, this is the brother of A, this is the sister of A, you are like, are you serious? Like, you don't believe it. You don't believe it not because they don't resemble. Not all siblings resemble themselves. You don't believe it not because they don't resemble, but basically because they don't even behave like siblings. Like, in some cases, you hardly see them together. In some cases, you hardly see them even smile together. Even when they are together, it's as if they are frowning. It's until maybe there's one serious problem that you see the dual together. Some schools, in schools where the students are allowed to stay off campus, you can see A and B are females, sisters of the same parents. In short, the same mother and the same father. But A hostel is different from B hostel. And interestingly, the two sisters, we have their separate roommates and they are staying off campus. Had it been they are staying in the school, had it been they are staying in the school hostel, it's a different thing. But they are staying off campus and they are not even staying together. And when you see them together, when you even see them together, it looks strange, because in some cases they both have complete their characters are actually different, are actually very, very much different. And I don't really think it's much healthy, because if I can't cope with my sister, if I can't cope with my sister, now I'm not even talking about with your brother, but if I can't cope with my sister, or I'm a guy and I can't cope with my own brother, how much more will I be able to cope with others? What will happen by the time I am older, I am grown up and I have my kids and I'm married, and my sister has her own kids and she's married? What will happen? Will our children even see eye to eye? Will the closeness be there? Do you understand? And I really think it's not even good, because a time will come, if a time will come, the younger one may not show much respect to the elder one, because it's like, I've been living my life without you, we've been in the same school, like, I have the way I run my things. And I think it's actually very, very, very wrong. And having looked at these and observing these in my environment, within my environment, I'm very sure that there are a lot of cases out there where you have parents who just allow their children to do what they feel like doing. Like, when it comes to relationship with themselves, because on the premise that they don't want to force themselves, they don't want to force anything in their children. I understand the part of you not forcing things on your children. Probably you don't want to force your child to study a particular course, but when it comes to interaction with your siblings, blood is thicker than water. So if you're listening to me and in one way or the other, it's very much evident in your family that there is a kind of rough edge in your relationship with your sibling or siblings, I think it's very much important that you put a check to it and resolve whatever conflicts you are having, even if it's the conflicts of individual differences. Probably one of your siblings like to scatter her things, like she knows how to throw her things from here to there, and you are this kind of person that wants everything to be organized. I think there are better ways of reconciling these kind of issues instead of having a very rough edge that makes both of you eventually grow up into strangers who stay in the same house. Strangers in the same house, for crying out loud, it ought not to be. Try to make things work with your children as a parent, and if you are a child, try to make the relationship between you and your sibling work. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed today's episode on La Familia Serie, episode 3. See you next time.